Hi, Miss Tawny here. I am back, and today we're going to talk about procrastination. Procrastination, I figured, would be a good topic for us to talk about because right now, if you're a student, you're doing your homework at home, you're doing your schoolwork at home. And sometimes it can be hard to find the motivation to do that. Even to do homework, it's hard to find the motivation, but when you're doing all of your schoolwork at home, it might be a little difficult for you. So today we're going to talk about that. And if you're not a student, you might be working from home, or you may be a person that struggles with procrastination. And if so, I hope this video is something that helps you. So I ask, have you ever procrastinated? I'm willing to bet most of you are going to say yes. And you may not be a chronic procrastinator. It may be something that you just do once in a while. But most of us have procrastinated at one point or another in our lives. And there are many different reasons that we procrastinate. You could have to make a phone call that you don't want to make. You may have to have a difficult conversation. You're not really sure how to approach it, and you're nervous how the other person's going to react. You may procrastinate getting out of bed in the morning. Some people find that really difficult. Or you may be procrastinating about going to bed at night. Some people find that difficult. They want to stay up and they want to do things. You may be procrastinating about a decision that you need to make. Or if you are a student, you may be procrastinating about doing your homework or doing your schoolwork. So, procrastinating is not always a bad thing if you are the kind of person who works very well under pressure. Then sometimes putting something off builds this sense of urgency that really helps you focus on a task. Doesn't mean it's always a good thing. And also, some things will actually take care of themselves. So if it's a small problem, sometimes waiting a little bit will allow it to work itself out. But those cases would be the exception. So typically we want to tackle things right away because usually the consequences are negative consequences. Talking about schoolwork, you could be handing in poor quality work if you didn't have enough time. You could be handing things in late. You might be getting lower marks, lower grades because of that, and we don't want that. But the biggest negative that comes out of procrastinating is really taking a hit to your self-esteem. Because we don't feel proud about procrastinating on something, right? We feel like we're doing something wrong, like we shouldn't be putting this off. And that can eat away at you. Now, also, other people around you can be saying things to you, calling you lazy, calling you disorganized, maybe even something worse than that. And they may not have bad intentions. They may be trying to motivate you or trying to help you identify something that you need to work on. And so they have a good intention about it. But still, hearing those negative things over time, we begin to internalize them. And then we start to realize self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, self-fulfilling prophecy, if you haven't heard that before, what it means is hearing something that you're telling yourself or that somebody else is telling you, and you really start to believe it over time, and because you believe it, you start to behave in that way. So hearing that you're lazy over and over and over might, in the end, make you become lazy. So it's important to have compassion for yourself, to understand that procrastination is not a character flaw. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It is a part of being a human. Most people have procrastinated, and there's reasons why we do this. The reason might be different for everyone, but today we're going to talk a little bit about what those reasons are and maybe what you can do about that so that you can get yourself on track or keep yourself on track. All right, so our reasons for procrastinating are often the fear of being judged, the fear that somebody's not going to approve of what you've produced or what you've done. It could be that you have a decision to make and you're scared to make that decision because you really don't know the outcome either way, and you want to make the best decision, but you don't know what that is. It could be you could have difficulty organizing your schoolwork. And I bet there's a lot of you out there that have difficulty organizing your schoolwork. It's something that you'll learn over time, and likely because it becomes an issue when you're trying to sit down and do your work or study for a test and you don't know where anything is. You don't know where to find what you need. You don't even know what you have that you may need to help you out with something. So that can be a huge problem and a reason for procrastinating. Maybe the task that you have to do isn't interesting to you. You don't feel like it's relevant. Like, why am I doing this? Or maybe you're a helper and maybe you're putting other people's needs before your own and you're trying to take care of them before you're taking care of yourself. Maybe you're having a hard time concentrating. Maybe you've agreed to do something that you really don't want to do because you have a really hard time saying no to people. Maybe you don't feel like your work's meaningful or like it's appreciated. Or maybe you feel like people are forcing you to do things and it's taking away your independence. Whatever the reason for procrastination, there are so many of them, and they're unique to each different type of personality. But there are ways to overcome this. So the first suggestion that I have for you is think about something that you're procrastinating on, and then list all the possible reasons that you think you might be procrastinating. Just list them, just brainstorm, write them all down. And then after you've done that, go back and read over your list and see what resonates with you. What looks like and feels like it might be really true. Like this is the reason why I'm procrastinating on this. And then think about that reason, or there might be more than one, there might be 2 or 3, but think about the reasons and think about, okay, if this comes true, what's the worst that can happen? Really think about that. So if it's a decision you're struggling with, what's the worst that can happen if I choose choice A? And what's the worst if I choose choice B? And think about that. And that is going to help you to decide, or it's going to help you to troubleshoot and to think about, okay, you know what, maybe I really just, I need to do this and it's really not going to be that bad. Also, if you're a person feeling like you might disappoint somebody or you might not be able to do a good job, that's a good strategy for you to do. And then another strategy would be, I'm just going to grab my notes here because I have notes today. List what you need to do and prioritize it. So just brainstorm, just write down on a piece of paper all the things that are on your mind that you need to do. Create a task list for yourself, but it doesn't have to be in list form. It can be like all over the place, because then you're going to go back and you're going to look at everything that you've written down and you're going to determine what is the most important and that needs to be done first. And then once you've kind of got them in an order, if you have some that are kind of, you have 2 or 3 things that you really need to do first, but you don't know which one to tackle, choose the one that is least attractive to you. Getting those tasks done that you really don't want to do, you're going to get them done and over with. You're going to feel really good about it. You're going to feel a sense of accomplishment. You're going to feel a sense of freedom, a sense of relief. So get those out of the way first. Then I want to talk about those helpers out there and people that really want to put other people's needs before theirs and that think, you know what, my stuff can wait. I need to help this person take care of themselves. What I want you to do is think about what happens when you're on an airplane. And if you've never been on an airplane, just imagine for a minute that you're sitting on an airplane, you're going to go on a trip. And the airplane is, the motor's running, everybody has boarded, you've got your seatbelts on, the stewards and stewardesses have come by and checked. You're waiting to take off. So the steward or stewardess is going to come over the microphone, one of them, and they're going to talk you through some safety steps. And then you'll have someone else demonstrating. But they come to a part where they start to talk about what to do if the cabin starts to lose air pressure. If the cabin starts to lose air pressure, an oxygen mask will fall from the ceiling. And what they will tell you is it is vitally important for you to put your mask on first. Regardless of who you're traveling with, you might be with a young child, you might be with a disabled person, you might be with an older person, somebody else needs help putting their mask on, but you must put your mask on first. Why? Because if you don't put your mask on, there is a risk that you could pass out from loss of oxygen. Okay, so great, Miss Tana, that's fine. But what about that kid or that disabled person or that elderly person that needs help putting their mask on? They're going to pass out while I'm putting my mask on. Yes, they might. But when you have your mask on, you're going to be okay. And even if they've passed out and you put their mask on them after they've passed out, that oxygen is going to revive them and they're going to be okay because they had someone help them. But if you don't put your mask on and you're not getting any oxygen and you pass out, well, who's going to be helped now? So think about that when you're putting other people's needs before yours. It's not selfish for you to put yourself first. You can't take care of other people and you can't help other people to your greatest capacity if you're not taking care of yourself. So that's my little chat about procrastination with you today. I hope that helps you. I hope it helps you either get caught up on what you're doing or helps you to stay on track with what you're doing. And I will see you again soon. Stay safe and be well.